All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something you've probably held in your hands 100 times, but maybe never really looked at: the restaurant menu. We're about to uncover the secret blueprint behind what makes the perfect one. So here's the big question, right? Is a menu just a list of what you can eat, or is it something much, much more? Well, as we're about to find out, it's a very carefully crafted secret blueprint for a restaurant's entire success. Okay, so our story starts with something you might call a menu's secret language. This is the part we, as customers, never see. It's where a hotel or restaurant is listening, really listening to what the data and their guests are telling them. And this is where you start to see two totally different worlds. When we open a menu, we see a list of delicious-sounding dishes and, their prices. But for the hotel, they see something else entirely. They see a detailed map of what's selling like crazy, what's not, where the profit is, and what their guests secretly want. Okay, so check this out. This is a perfect example of how they do it. Every single quarter, they're digging into the sales data. You can see right away, the pad thai is a total bestseller. That's the star player you never get rid of. The spicy curry, it's doing great on profit margins. But that sea bass, with sales that low, it's a classic underperformer. That's a huge red flag telling the team, hey, it's time for a rethink here. But, numbers can only get you so far. The real magic often comes from what people are actually saying. A little piece of feedback like this from a guest survey, it's absolute gold. It doesn't just confirm the pad thai is a keeper. It shines a big spotlight on a new opportunity: more seasonal fruit. This gives them the why behind the numbers. So, all that data, all that guest feedback, what does it lead to? Well, it leads to this: creating the recipe for a brand new dish. This is the fun part, where all those insights and ideas get turned into an actual amazing plate of food. Now, you might think a new dish comes from a chef just having this flash of inspiration, but it's actually way more structured. It's a whole journey. It starts with brainstorming, pulling from those local flavors and guest comments. Then, and this is key, they do a super detailed cost analysis. After that, it's all about tasting and refining, over and over until it's just right. Only then does it get the final green light. And let's talk about that cost analysis, because it is absolutely critical. They look at everything. It's not just the cost of those beautiful local ingredients. It's also the time and skill it takes to prepare the dish. All of that gets added up to find a price that feels fair to you, the guest, but also keeps the business healthy and profitable. It's a really delicate balancing act. Okay, so the dish is perfected, the price is set, we're done, right? Not even close. Now it's time to set the stage for success. Because it turns out, it's not just what you serve, it's all about how you present it. Before that new dish ever makes it to your table, the entire service team gets trained up. I mean, look at this checklist. They don't just learn what's in it. They learn the story behind it, the key ingredients, the critical allergen info, and even exactly how it should look on the plate and what wine goes best with it. This turns them from servers into storytellers. And this is where it all comes together. All that research, that development, that costing, that training, it all boils down to the single elegant moment. A server can now confidently say something like this. It's not just an upsell, it's the grand finale of a huge strategic effort, delivered in one perfect sentence. But here's the thing. The story does not end there. Not at all. Which brings us to our final and maybe most important point. The conversation never ends. This is what shows us why a menu isn't set in stone. It's a living, breathing document. The second that new item hits the menu, a clock starts ticking. For the first 30 days, its performance is watched like a hawk. How is it selling? What are the first few guests saying about it? This isn't the end of the process. In fact, it's the very beginning of the next round of data collection. And that feedback just keeps on coming. They might analyze guest responses and see something like this. A massive 75% of people love the new salad. That's a huge win. But they're also paying close attention to that 10% who said it needs improvement. Their feedback could lead to a tiny tweak that makes the dish even better.
It's a nonstop loop of improvement.
So this whole thing we've been walking through, it actually has a name. It's called menu engineering. It's this ongoing cycle of analyzing, designing, and redesigning a menu to keep profits up and, just as important, to keep guests happy. And that's really the big secret, isn't it? A perfect menu is never a final statement. It's an ongoing conversation.
So I want to leave you with this one final thought. The next time you sit down at a restaurant and you open up that menu, don't just look for what you want to eat. Take a second and ask yourself, what story is this menu telling me? What secrets can I now see hiding in plain sight?